This is Kirti Tiwari. Here is the second part of my lecture on feminism. In the first part, we discussed the term feminism and how it emerged in the Western and Indian context. In this part, we will discuss modern feminism. Modern feminism originated in Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex. This is a seminal work which offers a critique of culture-ridden society where women are considered as the negative object and man as the defining central object controlling human affairs. In it, it is argued that presentation of woman, her place and position in literature is biased and partial. It says women are not feminine by birth, they are made so by the type of socio-cultural processes. This book provides solid ground for both feminist theory and criticism. If we see the scene in America, it was Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique which initiated women's movement in America. She conducted a survey which revealed that the general assumption of a woman achieving happiness and contentment in marriage and motherhood is false. So, in other words, there is no satisfaction or happiness in marriage or motherhood. It exposes the plan of media to send the women who were out of home during war back to kitchen to create place for women. Because if the same continued, men might not have proper work to do. The author concludes that the problem for women is not sex. The crisis is that of her identity. And this identity has always been denied to them by society. Ellman's thinking about women also continued the protest against the portrayal of women by male writers. Then came other writers like Kate Millett, whose sexual politics brings the act of dominance and sexuality together and asserts that politics on bed make women miserably subjugated to oppression. The female Una of Germaine asserts that the traditional suburban consumerist nuclear family represses women sexually and that this devitalizes them and renders them as eunuchs. She uses the analogy of employer and employee in man-woman relationship, where the housewife is just an unpaid worker in the house of her husband, and in return she only gets the security of being a permanent employee. After this, a number of other women writers also expressed their anger and distress through their works. A few of them are listed here. The Dialectics of Sex by Firestone, Eva Figes's Patriarchal Attitude, Juliet Mitchell's women's estate, and Oxley's Sex, Gender and Society, the Sociology of Housework and Housewife. All these works were published around 1970s. Soon after this, numerous other books on feminism began to flow, and this provided great impetus to the feminist cause because they explored the social evil, the inequality, and such other gender issues in radical manner. All these developments can be classified into several phases or waves of feminism. To have a cursory glance over these waves, let us see how it started in the late 19th century in the beginning and lasted till 20th century. That was the first phase. This phase was largely political in nature and they demanded equal rights for women. So their purpose was limited. In the second phase, which prevailed from 1960s to 80s, perennial patriarchal system was attacked. In the third phase, from 1990s to 2000, the discrimination and the dogmas associated with females were questioned. The fourth wave was that of post-feminism that started after 2000. Its key concept was to focus on woman's inner freedom in order to resolve problems that are raised by feminism. Now, the last wave in which we are living at present, that started after 2015, between 2015 or 20. This fifth phase was quite different from the early phases. This was the phase in which systematic institutional changes were focused upon. A few days back in India, we have seen how our leaders tried to bring about a constitutional change demanding more seats for women in parliament. So such changes were emphasized in the fifth wave. Then a positive change was intersectional solidarity and fighting against threats to reproductive rights and renewal of traditional gender roles. Gender roles will have to be redefined, and the good thing about it was that now feminism tried to bridge the divides and offer or seek more sustainable solutions, not just the immediate reaction or protest. So, this feminism, the recent one, which can be called post-feminism, is quite a healthy approach. It criticizes earlier forms of feminism by denying the victim mentality accepted by feminists, because if they were considered victims, that was leading to disintegration of family. So it proposes new traditionalism by accepting traditional values of domesticity and motherhood so that family can remain integrated. So, women equality is sought but not at the cost of family. Earlier, whenever the rights of women were talked about, it was all against family and men. So, in this way, feminism proclaims equality in choice. It says that if choices are given to women, they can achieve equality. This view has support from media, advertisement, and literature, where women are portrayed as assertive, confident, and composed with equal status and rights of men. You can see this obviously in modern cinema and works and movement. Then, if we see Carol Newman's Making for Open, the Chateau book of post-feminist poetry, he introduced this term post-feminism and opened that very few women poets whose poetry contained feminism were included in the anthologies. So this was the first attempt made to provide opportunity in terms of equality with men. So she forgets about the historical concept of feminism and advocates a new metaphysical concept which demands mental freedom so that there is free expression of thoughts. Now, such a movement, post-feminism, has its own importance. And what are the significances? It prepares ground for the construction of egalitarian society by dispensing the notion of gender division. It is not against feminism. It is considerate, cool, and adjusting. And it introduces new concepts like Brave New World, the girl power, androgyny, cyberspace pluralism, and multiculturalism. Beyond these waves, different approaches have also emerged and offered a different theoretical framework for understanding and addressing gender issues. I'll mention only the names because each one of them demand a separate lecture. So, some of them are liberal feminism, radical feminism, Marxist feminism, black feminism, intersectional feminism, post-modern feminism, and ecofeminism. All these phases and approaches elucidate that there is a quest for justice everywhere and every time. Hence, it is still a vital and essential movement. So, what should be the answer to this issue? Actually, I feel that it is this gender sensibility, which means one should be able to accept one's gender identified roles, both men and women. Establishing an identity as a human being separate from the existing gendered identity and accommodate the other gender. So we have to be more tolerant and patient and accommodate both the genders. One must ascertain one's gender. We should do our gender assigned roles also. So in a way, in modern times, the young generation should adjust with the conventional norms as well as modern approach. Because if we want to create a balanced life, a complete life, and avoid confusion and chaos in relationships, then we ought to have a balanced attitude. Dual role of men and women is therefore the need of the hour. One should pay one's individual contribution to society as a person on one hand and one's gender specific role on the other. Say for instance, if a woman is working as a bureaucrat, she should give her individual contribution there, but at the same time she should not forget that she is a wife or a daughter or a mother or a sister. Similarly, men also, while working outside, should share these responsibilities at home also. So, this is not confining the wife to the kitchen or forcing the husband to earn alone. Both can move out of their domains imposed by the society or culture. So, because if both men and women totally give up their defined roles, that is also not proper. Because family, which is very essential unit, it suffers. So both man and woman will have to play dual roles, one for the family and other for their own identity or individual persons. So we can conclude that men and women should leave gender sensitivity and become gender sensible. And the idea of coexistence need to be encouraged. That's what God also wanted when He created woman from Adam's ribs. So here is a plea. Let feminism be a vibrant, ongoing dialogue, adapting complex human life in pursuit of equality for all. In this way, it can have a better future. That is why, Matthew Henry, while commenting on the Bible, has said that God wanted man and woman to be equal. And he says, I quote, "The woman was made of a rib out of the side of Adam, not made out of his head to rule over him, nor out of his feet to be trampled upon by him, but out of his side to be equal with him, under his arm to be protected, and near his heart to be beloved." This is beautiful. This is actually the God's plan. So here is a plea, a request to support God's plan. These are some of the works that I have consulted and are the source books that will give you some idea of feminism. You can always refer to it. So this is all about feminism. In short, the honest intention is to give a brief introduction to the theory to create interest among the undergraduate and postgraduate students